Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from your favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports, real coverage from real fans.
Woo! NFC North Roundtable, how are we feeling today? Look, I'm just going to say it straight off the bat. I don't look like TD, and that's probably because I'm not TD. Today, I will be your host for the Roundtable, Colby Cochran with Roundtable Sports. Some of you guys might know me as Patriots Global, but we don't need to talk about that today with how my team is in the basement. TD is going to be out this week. He will be back next week. Just kind of had to relocate because of the hurricane. And before we jump into today's video, just want to give a massive shout out to everybody who's dealing with the hurricane. Please take precautions. Please be safe. Please do everything you can to help out one another through these hard times. And I also want to say, please do something that I feel like not enough people are talking about. Please take care of these animals. These animals are relying on us. These dogs right now, you guys can actually adopt animals. You don't even need to do it full time, but you can just adopt them for the next few days, upwards to a week, and then you can give them back to the shelter. Just giving them a home and keeping them safe so that they don't drown throughout this entire hurricane. Please, guys, do your part. If you're able to help people, you're able to help the animals, please do that. Of course, today's video, of course, is brought to you by BetUS. With BetUS, right now, when you guys sign up using the website or use their mobile app, it's iOS and Android, you can get a limited time exclusive offer of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed by a 125% sign-up bonus on your next two deposits, all the way up to $2,000. That is a deal on your first three deposits when you use that code like you see on the screen, YouTube 150. BetUS, they got the fastest payouts in the industry. They can also give you a 200% crypto deposit bonus. They got the fastest and easy deposit and withdrawal process in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year, live wagering on all major games. They got the best betting variety in the business. You can even get a 10% back on your net losses 2 times a year. Please name me a sports book that is taking care of you and your money the way that BetUS is. You can't do it because nobody else is doing it. BetUS is changing the landscape of online sports books. Did you guys also know that BetUS can give you your very own personalized account manager? Please remember that supporting the sponsors that support the channel supports every creator that you see here on the screen today. And of course, everybody behind the scenes at Roundtable Sports. We could not be here without the support of BetUS. Most importantly, though, please play smart. Please play responsible. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. Never bet to put food on the table or to pay your rent for the month. If you or somebody you know or love is dealing with a problem, please get the proper help that you need. In fact, if you go to BetUS's website, they have a page, a section of the website dedicated to getting the help that you need. But again, shout out to none other than BetUS. But let's start bringing in these creators because week five was one interesting week, especially for the NFC North. But we got to start from the bottom. I believe that was what a Drake song, start from the bottom. But let's bring in Bass. Bass, how you doing, buddy? Still
Good.
At the bottom.
Yeah, and I was saying this backstage, and I'm going to say it because Nick said it, if he has to, which he will at some point, he's going to steal it. And I said, we're the best fourth team in the division in the entire NFL. So, like, for being the fourth in the NFC North compared to any other fourth team in their respective division, we quite literally are the best one in terms of record. It just shows how good this NFC North is. And I already saw it in the comments. People are like, we already got other divisions coming in here to contest with us. The NFC North, as much as we smack talk each other, we are the best division in football right now.
Yeah, and the way you look at it, too, like, you might be at the bottom, but that doesn't mean that you're a bad team. You know, you're in the bottom because of how good the division is. You look at my team, look at the Patriots in the AFC East, along with TD and his Dolphins, like, you could be top of the division, but that doesn't mean anything when all teams in the division outside of the Bills pretty much suck. So you might be at the bottom right now, but again, it's only week 5. We're heading into week 6. The landscape is completely open still. This is anybody's game. The top is the Vikings being undefeated with being 5-0 or 5-0 rather, and then your Packers are 3-2. So there's a lot of things that can still change throughout the landscape of the NFL any given week, like they say, right? Any given week. But let's go ahead and let's bring on third place. We got the Bears here. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Couldn't agree with Bass more. This is the best division in football by far. I mean, we just keep winning. And honestly, I don't see anybody taking us down anytime soon. I love being a part of the NFC North. It's going to be a lot of fun for the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and bring on second place. We got my boy. Ooh, 1 second. We got my boy. There we go. Dose of Dion. What's going on, buddy?
You muted, Dose. You got some muted going on.
Dose, I think you're still muted there, buddy.
Man was on a bye week.
I was gonna say he's still on bye.
Yeah,
week.
he's still on his bye week. Oh, man.
Dose did have some technical difficulties before we started, so this is okay.
If I can read lips, he's saying he'll be right back.
He'll be right. Okay. Yeah, well,
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Oh, there we go.
I
There
fixed
he
the
is.
problem. Man, look, I didn't even know this button was here. I'm going to be honest with you. I learned something. I didn't know there was a mute button right there. Something went wrong. Colby, look, real quick, you fooled me, man. I thought you were TD, so it's good to see you here, man. I'm glad you clarified that. I hate the NFC North. Like, straight up, this was like such a disappointing weekend. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm going to chill, kind of sit back, root for everybody to lose, and then everybody's just winning every game. I mean, the Rams game, super disappointing. I was like, oh, they got him. Nope. Bears smoking the Panthers. The NFC North stinks, man. I hate the NFC North, man. But I'm glad that, we have a chance this week to set up a first-place matchup next week with One Bar.
So we got some love for the North, and then we got some hate for the North coming.
Yeah, it's a lot of hate. A lot more hate. Yeah.
A lot more hate. All right, let's see. Let's see where One Bar stands. And of course, being one of the only undefeated teams left in the NFL, it is just the Vikings and the Chiefs left at it. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to prevail. Who's going to be the last team standing that's undefeated? Is it the Vikings? Is it the Chiefs? One Bar, brother, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. 5-0, baby. NFC North. One of the biggest reasons why the best divisions in the league is because you got the 5-0 team sitting right at top, baby, undefeated. It's beautiful. I say it every week. I'm just gonna soak it in. I know we got a big matchup coming up the following week with the Lions, but the Lions got to beat the Cowboys first, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, this division is just absolutely jacked. The Vikings on a bye week this week. Technically, all of our weeks so far have been a bye because they've been a breeze. So this will be just status quo. Status quo. I'm going to sit back, hopefully watch some of you guys lose, and just enjoy some football. No pressure this weekend.
Now, One Bar, just out of curiosity, obviously this is my first time here on the NFC North. Maybe TD's asked you this in the past, but who do you think? I mean, like I said, it's right now, it's you, the Vikings, and the Chiefs who are the only ones left undefeated. Just quick prediction. Who do you think is going to be the last team standing? Is it going to be your Vikings, or do you think it's going to be the back-to-back Super Bowl champions?
Who do the Chiefs play this week?
That is a beautiful question. I should know this
I
because I
don't know.
literally host.
I don't
They're
know
on a
if the
bye
Chiefs-
week. They're on a bye week.
They're on a bye week, so we're both on bye. I don't know who they have the following week. The Lions are going to be tough. I got to give some love to the
49ers.
Chiefs.
49ers the following week in San Fran.
In San Fran. So, you know what?
Yeah.
We might both get our first loss in. I'm not predicting a loss against the Lions. No way in hell. But Chiefs are going to get the first loss. I got to go. Chiefs
are going to get the first loss. Look, you know what?
I'm
I
not gonna
think
pick against the Vikings now. Shit, we're
Look,
5-0, baby.
Yeah,
even
One Bar,
in
your
division.
confidence is unreal right now.
How
dude.
can it not be,
Division,
man?
too. Everybody just wants to see the
5-0.
Chiefs out of it. Everybody is
Yeah.
rooting for the Vikings right now. Even in division, all 31 teams here are against Kansas City. Everybody just wants them done. Okay, so let's go Vikings. Hashtag Skull. Am I right? But
Yeah.
One Bar, while we got
like
you here, buddy, why don't you talk to me and let me know what happened here with Minnesota against the Jets in Week 5? Y'all were in London. Break it down for me.
Yeah, Vikings continue their undefeated streak in London. I think we're 4-0 now in London. I mean, the Jets, first off, the Jets defense, I knew they were good, but they're damn good. That defense, it was insane. Their secondary were shutting us down. Like, that was not the Vikings' best game. So they come out. The Vikings get up 17-0 right out of the gate, which was beautiful. But then Aaron Jones goes down, which Aaron Jones just proved his worth right there as far as what happened after he left that game with that hip injury, because we couldn't do anything on the ground. Nothing. Stalled. Sam Darnold takes a big hit. And after he came out, he left for a play. He came back in. He was not the same dude. He took a big shot to the ribs. So our offense was completely just non-existent. And the Jets ended up coming back a little bit. And luckily, the Vikings defense continued to show up. The 3 interceptions against Aaron Rodgers, 3 sacks, constant pressure on him. So hats off for the defense, because the offense without Jones, with Darnold just completely off, we ended up still getting the win even after they came back. And rookie kicker Will Reichard, I've never had a kicker jersey before, and I'm not a really jersey guy, but I might actually have to get a Will Reichard jersey and just wear that thing around. Dude is just fantastic as a rookie. So hats off to him. But the biggest thing that I take away from this game is like whether something's always stepping up for the Vikings week in and week out. Is it Sam Darnold throwing 4 touchdowns? Is it defense getting 5 sacks and 3 picks? Is it our special teams, Will Reichard going out there? We always find a way to win. And to me, that's what good teams do. They find a way to win. They're not just one-dimensional. We're just completely rounded right now. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I got to say, if TD was here, I was gonna shout out Andrew Van Ginkel even more, because Andrew Van Ginkel, Xavier McKinney, I'll give Baz this. He's probably the best free agent signing in the NFL. Andrew Van Ginkel is right there neck and neck. He had a pick 6. He's got 2 interceptions on the year, 3 sacks. The man is an absolute menace, and it's fantastic. But the big thing out of this is, how long is Aaron Jones going to be out? Because the Vikings, they need him in that lineup. But they get the dub. It wasn't overly pretty, but they got the win, and they stepped up.
You know what, one bar too, to make the win even better for the Vikings fans, y'all are the reason that Robert Saleh got fired this week. And maybe not the reason, but you're one of the reasons. You guys beating them is one of the big reasons on why Robert Saleh got fired this week, which makes it even funnier. But you know what? I actually want to thank Vikings fans, because let me tell you, those Jets fans, they've been talking Super Bowl all off season, even all regular season. They beat the Patriots week 3, and they were going off saying how this is the comeback game and Aaron Rodgers is MVP again. Like, what are we talking about? And you know what? The Vikings were just another team that put them in their place. And I absolutely love it. And also, former Patriot Stephon Gilmore calls games and just taunts the Jets yet again. Gilly Lock's still a top corner in the NFL. Dose, let's go on over to you, buddy. What did you think about this Vikings matchup?
Yeah, it was frustrating. It was frustrating, Colby. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. And it just, you're sitting there watching it, and you're seeing how it's playing out. Like, the Jets are just slowly kind of working their way back into the game. And one bar made a great point. Losing Aaron Jones was massive. I didn't know it was going to be that big of a deal. But as soon as he went out, the run game stopped. And then entire second half, you're watching the Jets. I got to the point where I was like, oh, Minnesota's losing this game. They're not doing anything. And to one bar's point, Jets have a great defense. So that was a lot of picking the Jets was because of that reason. But while it's so frustrating, is because it was probably one of the most impressive wins, maybe the most impressive win for me for Minnesota of the season, because they just found a way to still win that game. As one bar pointed out, like, you hate it, but that's the game. It feels like this is the one they're gonna lose this one, and it just doesn't happen. And like you said, the Robert Saleh situation happens, and they just did enough. Like, Justin Jefferson, still big time. Outside of the defensive flags, I mean, he still almost had 100 yards in this game. They're picking up key chunks when they needed. Their second half offense was a disaster, but they just did enough when they needed it most. But it was the defense. It was the defense that they relied on. And even though the Jets seemingly had something rolling, like they found something in the second half, when they needed it most, Stephon Gilmore comes through and makes the massive play. So it was just annoying, because it felt like the Vikings for sure were going to have their first loss, and then they didn't. They were moving the ball down the field, and then they just stalled out, right? I mean, you first, second down, third down, and it just getting no yards on each down, and they stalled out. So I don't know. If I'm a Jets fan, I'm probably a little frustrated too, because I feel like we kind of just let that happen. But yeah, the Minnesota Vikings find a way to win. Being kind of the same team over and over. Again, they get out to this massive lead. That's been the story all year. They're not playing from behind ever. Play from a massive lead again, and then for all of that to seemingly change in the second half and just being able to hold on and get it done, it's an impressive win. This was the most impressive wins for me on the season for Minnesota. It doesn't, to me, the win doesn't show like, hey, they're like on this different level, but it just shows that they're finding ways to win, and that's a playoff team.
All right, respect, boss. Let's go down to you. What did you think about this game?
Yeah, when we went over the previews last week, one of my main things was, going into London, being a Packers fan, knowing Aaron Rodgers went there to play the Giants a few years ago, and I was like, man, he just hates going there. And what he hasn't done so far is turn over the football. To see the Vikings get 3 interceptions on Aaron Rodgers, it's impressive because the guy doesn't turn over the football, and you guys definitely frustrated him, also sacking him 3 separate times, a 54.9 quarterback rating. But I'll agree with Dion. It was disappointing because I still rooted for the Jets, obviously. If I had to root for an AFC team, it would be the Jets just because of Aaron Rodgers, because I still like to watch the guy play. But then on the flip side, you see all the discourse this week and Robert Saleh getting fired, and I'm like, damn, did the Vikings actually, were they the last straw there? And I'll say this, man, Aaron Jones, it's funny because it's like I'm talking about two past Packers here. Aaron Jones is definitely huge for you guys, and once I saw him go out, I felt that because we've had that happen similar to us where it's like Aaron Jones is out, he's on a tear, then he gets hurt, and then your whole offense like implodes. And that's what I saw here. I mean, they went up early, and I was like, oh, great. The Vikings are going to smoke the Jets here. But then it kind of flipped. It kind of flipped a little bit. They couldn't get any run game going. And it was, in my opinion, I don't think anyone would disagree, Sam Darnold kind of came back down to earth a little bit. It was definitely his worst game on the season. You know, he finished about 50% completion, a little less than that, 179 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, a quarterback rating of 50.3. So maybe the Jets kind of showed what you could do against Sam Darnold. I believe they were picking on Sauce Gardner. The refs were, in my opinion. I feel like there's one drive where he had like 3 penalties on him, and then they were throwing phantom flags on Justin Jefferson, PI on the defense like they have been all year, which a lot of them are just soft calls, in my opinion. But the refs are doing that all around the league, which I hate. So that annoyed me to watch. And I thought at the very end, like, hey, the Jets have a chance to go down, score a touchdown, win this game. And I've seen this so many times from an Aaron Rodgers perspective. And he was starting to hit a couple throws, but the continuity wasn't there. And it's not there with these receivers yet. You have Allen Lazard dropping some passes. You have Garrett Wilson running the wrong depth on back shoulders. And then to wrap things up, the final back shoulder fade to Mike Williams, and he doesn't even look for the football. If the Jets had any continuity, which clearly they don't right now, I think they would have won that game. But they didn't. And the Minnesota Vikings did exactly what they needed to do to get a win and go 5-0 and be one of the last 2 undefeated teams. So I got to give them credit with that.
For sure. And Nick, let's go on over to you. Wrap us up with this Vikings game.
Yeah, I mean, so one bar, like, honestly, when Sam Darnold went down and he was injured for like a couple seconds, I was like, oh, crap. Like, this guy's tough as nails, though. Like, it was a big shot to him. He gets back up, and then, obviously Minnesota ended up winning the game. Like, this team just has a lot of drive. Like, they just want to win. They want to be on the field. And you saw that from start to finish. I mean, like, obviously I thought it was a pretty good game overall. It's always fun internationally too. Like, nothing better than waking up in the morning at like 8:00. You're like, oh, we got football, at least in Chicago. We got football in like 30 minutes. I love it. But overall, like, the Vikings defense, they just absolutely were all over Aaron Rodgers. I think their linebacker, I forgot his name, that's his 2nd or 3rd pick 6 this year. They are just locked in right now. Like, the defense just looks really good. The offense is just constantly moving the ball down the field. It's just an exciting group. They're gelling really well together, and they did that against the Jets really well. Aaron Rodgers just did not look like himself. They obviously, lost the game too. The Jets defense, though, looking pretty solid throughout the season. I just didn't see that same energy out of them. Minnesota definitely took the life out of them right away in the beginning of the game. So overall, that's why, again, the NFC North is one of the toughest divisions. It is the toughest division in football, because all these teams they know how to just put energy out there. They get after it right away. And that's exactly what the Vikings did why they're 5-0. And I'm telling you, these Vikings, they're a scary team to play this upcoming couple of weeks here. I already got them circled on the calendar, but watch out for Minnesota, man. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, these in-division games here for the North, like, they are going to be very good. And like I alluded to earlier, they are going to hold so much weight. You win, you lose. Y'all are going to finish with very similar records. At least right now, that's what it's projecting to be. So, if you lose one or you win one, that is definitely going to help or really kill you when it comes to the overall seedings by the end of the season. Which of these teams are going to make it to the postseason and which of these teams are not. But Dose, we would go on over to you and talk about your game, but you guys were on a bye week. There's probably not really too much to talk about there unless there's any, big news with the Lions that happened during the bye week. Is there anything you want to tell us? I think now would be the time.
Man, I mean, I don't think there's any big news, to be honest, outside of just to follow up on the injury update last week, because I know I did bring up Branch, so I just did bring it up for the chat. Brian Branch, full participation, projected, but we're getting healthy, right? Outside of Derek Barnes and Davenport, guys that are on IR, maybe not expected to come back, but Ragnow's back, so is Branch. So big news there, but outside of that, man, nothing much, man. It's quiet over here, just sitting back waiting for this Dallas game.
Yes, sir. Love it. Get right game. Get right game. But let's go on here over to Nick. Nick, why don't you break down what happened? Y'all are in third place currently. You don't go up against a great team here, but that's not necessarily what I feel like the Chicago Bears need right now. Right now, y'all need momentum. You got to get right. You got to build the confidence. You need Caleb Williams to get on track. And you know what? You absolutely obliterated a bad team here, 10-36. Why don't you break this down for me?
Yeah, no, the Bears, this was a should-win game. The Bears haven't been in that position in a while. It was the first time they were favored all season, and the Bears came out and they dominated the Carolina Panthers. They actually started out down 7 early in the game. Andy Dalton and the running game, they spread out good offense, but Carolina just couldn't get the offense going after that. Bears defense, 11 games in a row with 21 or less points allowed. Caleb Williams comes out with a really good game plan by Shane Waldron, is absolutely just slinging it to everybody. Out of the 6 different wide receivers the Bears had, all of them had over 20 yards receiving and at least 2 first downs. So this team was just moving the ball super well through the entire game. Again, as they should. DeAndre Swift, another 100-plus game on offense, receiving and rushing, getting the free agent that we brought in really involved. So they did a super good job there getting him going. And then in good positions too. Like they used every single type of thing that they should be doing. Players sat down Shane Waldron, our new offensive coordinator, a couple weeks ago and said, you need to open up the playbook. You need to get this thing right. You need to coach us. And that's exactly what they did. In goal line positions, they brought in our bigger running back, Rashawn Johnson, 2 rushing touchdowns. They brought in our third-string center, Doug Kramer, to play fullback, who just absolutely plowed the way forward. When Doug Kramer was in, he was 5 for 7 on helping the Bears get first downs on third down. I mean, we were just doing a great job moving the ball. The offense is really starting to get in a flow. DJ Moore with 2 more touchdowns from Caleb Williams, kind of squashing any sort of drama that was reported between Moore and the Chicago Bears, which he actually squashed today. He's like, there was actually none. It's just who I am. I'm a quiet player. I don't speak too loudly on the field. And he likes to sit by himself. That's exactly what he does on the sideline. It's nothing against Caleb Williams. So Caleb Williams is the big topic, though. 20 for 29, over 300 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns, a 126.6 QBR. That's 2 out of 3 games with over 300 yards passing in the last 3. And on top of it, too, he's the first Bears rookie quarterback to have multiple 300-yard passing games as a rookie in franchise history. So the narrative is changing for this team. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to beat bad teams. And, this is the NFL. Things happen. Things get done. Any given Sunday, I guess. I mean, no one saw the Bengals being the Bengals how they're going to be. There's a lot of teams that are shocking people. So we didn't walk into that game overconfident, but we knew what we had to do. And that's why we put up 36, only allowed 3 in the second half. The best second half defense in football, only allowing 32 points through 5 weeks in the second half. Defense had 3 takeaways. Javon Dexter Sr., our second-year defensive tackle, 4 sacks in 5 games. This team's just fun to watch. And I'm really excited for this upcoming game against the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. So hopefully entering the bye, we're 4-2. And finally, as a Bears fan, feeling confident about it.
Yeah, and real quick, DJ Moore finally goes off. I feel like he's been a little silent. I feel like we haven't necessarily seen from this wide receiver trio that we've kind of expected to. But again, it's a new team. It's a very new and young team, new pieces coming in. Sometimes it just takes a few weeks to finally start meshing, and it looks like that's happening. There were some rumblings, nothing that was a true report, but some speculation that was being kind of thrown around. Maybe some teams looking to be interested in trading for DJ Moore. Do you think that after this game, that if teams really do call before the trade deadline, that they just hang up the phone immediately?
I mean, we didn't just sign him to an extra 4-year, $85 million to trade him. So I'm squashing that bug right there. I didn't even hear about that. That's the first time I've heard that news. So I'll have to go out and look for it. But there is absolutely no way we're trading DJ Moore.
Oh, man. I can't wait to tell Dan Mitchell, man. Dan Mitchell was pressing for the Buffalo Bills to trade for DJ Moore before the trade deadline. And boy, oh boy, is this going to depress him on tonight's episode of the AFC East Roundtable.
I saw his Instagram about it. I commented. I was like, get out of here. Like, no chance. So.
Yeah, I'm going to have to let him know about that one. That's going to depress him a little bit, especially with that team having quite literally 0 wide receivers. But one bar, let's go on up to you, buddy. What did you think about this Bears and Panthers game?
I mean, Nick said, like, you guys both said it. Like the Bears, they have this stretch of a schedule right now where it's perfect timing. They needed this crap ass stretch here for them to gain some confidence, and that's what's happening. I mean, they played the Panthers, who were horrible, and they obliterated them. That's what they should have done. It's perfect for them because they have a winning record right now. The first couple of games, yeah, they were absolutely gross, but they're getting some momentum. Williams is looking good. Swift, the fact that they're actually getting him the ball and he's doing things with it. Hats off to them. And the defense is going to do their thing. There's no question about their defense. As long as they have that defense, like any week, they can win a ball game. So it's good for the Bears. It's perfect timing, like I said, to get their confidence going. We'll see what happens with that confidence when they actually start playing some of these big boy teams. I know when they get into the middle of their schedule, they got the Vikings, they got the Lions, they got the 49ers. So they're racking up wins. And I'm going to say the same thing when we talk about the Packers. It's like at this point, if you're in the NFC North, whether it's pretty or not, just to stay in the mix, you got to get the dub. And that's exactly what they did. So hats off to the Bears. Caleb Williams, man, the dude is just toying with my emotions. Like at the beginning of the season, I couldn't believe how absolutely horrible he looked. And all of a sudden he's putting a couple games together, regardless of who he's playing against. So Caleb Williams, hats off to him too. He's looking like a pretty damn good quarterback. We'll see what happens. The season is young, but Bears look good. I can't deny it.
Ooh, some respect. Dose, let's go on over to you. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what, Colby? This was you know what this felt like? It felt like, I was rolling up to a park playing basketball, a bunch of like 8-year-olds, just cooking them, hitting some, just throwing up some. I mean, this was crazy. The Bears, we're talking about the Bears like they have this off offensive line. They can't run the football. And you watch the first half of this game, and it's like every single play, Carolina just feels like they're gashed. I mean, it just felt like every play was downhill, Swift's cooking on screens, and it's just like, they have a couple injuries, but they got some key injuries. They have Derek Brown out of this game. They have Shaq Thompson, as Nick brought up last week. They had some key injuries, and they couldn't stop a thing. Like, this was the most efficient that I've seen this Bears offense look, because they look like, if you didn't know, if this is the only game you saw, you'd be like, man, the Bears got a real run game this year. It was that bad, it felt like, in the first half. And then Carolina, every time they got the ball, they just did something dumb. I mean, I'm watching Andy Dalton, they turnover on downs, misses like 2 guys wide open, and then they fumble the football on a 3rd and 12. They give him a short field, and they just fell into this massive hole. And it got to the point, I don't even want to look at the second half. I mean, it was just that bad. So, but here's the thing. As Nick pointed out, it's an NFL team. So you give it to the Bears for that, because they made them look terrible like that. And again, I thought the plan was just really smart for Caleb Williams. I love the touchdown throw, because it looked like pre-snap, like, oh, that's going to be there. And then immediately he went there with the football and he put it on DJ Moore, as you guys pointed out. So I love that. But again, I just thought this plan was really good. But it's just like, when you can play and roll downhill like they did against this defense, he looks like a completely different player. Now, I will say Caleb's running around a lot. So I'm keeping an eye on that, because I think a better defense that could show up as some issues again, like, hey, taking a bad sack, because he is moving a ton. But it felt like he had a 2nd and 6 scramble, which was just disgusting. He made a lot of plays off schedule in this game. I think a better defense could take advantage of that at times, but give credit to the Bears, man. They made Carolina look horrible, way worse than I thought this game was going to look. And that defense is really good, and that's a big reason why.
Yeah, and Dose, they're 3-2 now, right? So I want to ask you, do you think that the Bears are legit? Do you think that they're getting momentum, Caleb Williams is legit, or do you think that they're a fraudulent 3-2 team just beating up on teams that they should realistically beat?
I do not think they're fraudulent. I think this is a playoff team, and I still see a scenario where they finish second in this division behind us.
Ooh, second in the division.
You got to stick to the prediction. Yeah, I want to get people going. I got to stick to the prediction. Yeah.
I don't know if he's doing that trick last
Nick,
thing. I don't know if he's doing it right now.
Legit.
I think.
Okay. Look, one bar was not common at the beginning. Let's just be real. One bar, you were really considering that. You're like, wait a minute, what time does Kansas City play versus us? Because you were like, hold up, we might not be the last undefeated team. I'll just say, I think the Bears are legit because their defense is so darn good, and it's exactly what the Bears are.
So, Dose, remind me, what were those division predictions? Because I uploaded those on Instagram, but I uploaded like 8 of them, so I don't remember what exactly yours were here for the North.
I have us. I don't know what my records were, but I had us 1, Bears 2. I think I had the. Who did I have? I don't know. I had the Packers over. I don't know which one I had. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
I had Packers 3.
Based off of where we all put the Vikings off.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, you're right about that. I had the Packers 3, Vikings 4. That probably won't happen. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think the Bears can get to 2.
So we'll stay at 4 is what you're saying.
I didn't say that.
Just alluded to it. He said it.
Inferring.
Said it with his heart.
That's crazy, though. That's crazy. I'll hold you to that.
And Nick, look, so Caleb Williams too, he's starting to build this momentum. He's starting to gel a little bit, which is expected. Rookie quarterbacks, it's very, very rare that they take the NFL by storm immediately. You look at CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud wasn't CJ Stroud immediately. At first, he looked like a bust. He looked like a bust in the preseason his rookie year. He looked like a bust the first few weeks, and then he finally turned it on. So, Nick, I want to ask you real quick, just projecting, where do you think that Caleb Williams is going to finish amongst quarterbacks in the NFL by the end of the season? Is it going to be top 10? Do you think he'll be top 15? Where do you think he finishes?
Top 15. I mean, like, this kid's still going to make mistakes. And like everyone's kind of saying that he has to go against the Bears defense in practice, which has definitely helped him improve. And he's even said that himself. But, defenses are going to throw different things at him. Everyone in this division has a tough defense. They're going to play even harder when we play them, no matter whether it's at Soldier Field or at their house. He's going to have mistakes. He's going to have another bad game this season. Like, it's going to happen. I just hope it's not soon. I'd rather walk into the bye 4-2 with a little bit of confidence. But top 15, I think, is very respectful. Like, he's already on pace to break every single Bears franchise record, not only as a rookie, but as a quarterback, a single season record. He's already projected to be over 4,000 yards. I have him top 15. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes top 10, though. Like, if that were to happen, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, like, it makes sense why he did. Top 5, I don't know about that, but top 15 lock.
Serious right now? Top 5?
I'm not saying top 5. Where did I say top 5, one bar?
I'm sorry. Just the fact that you're considering that.
I already
just blacked
zoned
out
out.
for a
No,
second.
I said that if he finishes top 5, I would be shocked. But at top 10, I would be like, okay, like, maybe it could happen top 15 for sure. It's amazing. One bar takes off his hat. He's a whole new person. He's 5-0.
He's
Seriously.
angry now, yeah.
Yeah. He turned into the 5-0 one bar. I missed the 0-0 one bar. I did.
Hey, I predict us to be 8 and 9, man. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. How can you not?
Hey,
Ride the wave while you can, right, one bar? Ride it while you can, man. Because you never know too what's gonna happen. As soon as you lose a game, like, there's some teams that are gonna use that as motivation, as a get right game, and say, we have flaws that were shown, let's get better. But then there's also gonna be teams that say, okay, well, you know what? We got our first loss. Now it doesn't matter. The way that I've alluded it to in my other roundtables, it's like when you go into the new school year and you're like, I'm gonna get 90s in all of my classes, and then there's that one teacher that gives you the 89. And you're like, all right, F it, I'm done. Like, I don't care about my grades anymore. I already dropped below. Like, but Nick, my last question here for you before we move on to Boss here and kind of give your thoughts on this Bears game is, with how Caleb Williams is performing and the way that he's trending, is there any way, do you think, that he's able to beat Jaden Daniels for Offensive Rookie of the Year? Because, I mean, Jaden Daniels is looking super hot. He's putting up numbers. They're the #1 scoring offense in the league with the Commanders, but he's not just in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year, but he's also in the running for MVP. Is there any way that if Caleb Williams stays this hot and even gets hotter, he can be in the race for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
No, I mean, like, if Daniels continues this the rest of the year, like, he'll win it because he showed consistency. It was out of the gate. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I would love Caleb to win it, but if Daniels stays this hot and shows that it's not just a first 5-game thing, he'll definitely win Rookie of the Year for sure. Not only that, he could really win MVP. But let's say Daniels takes a little dip. He has those couple bad rookie weeks. Caleb stays hot. It's going to come down to those two at the end for sure. So if today were to be the voting, Daniels would definitely get it. I'm not even going to deny that. Later in the season, it's still early. I mean, we still have, 12 games left for everybody. So it's going to be an interesting time.
Ooh, I like this comment. Daniels versus Goff for MVP. Dose, what do you think, Dose? Like, unbiased, you had to put your money on it. Who would get MVP right now?
That's his burner account. Dude.
Look, man. Hey, shout out to Jordy. Here's the thing. It's not a conversation right now. As Daniels is gonna get. First off, I don't know why Daniels is getting so much love. And I mean, I guess because it's Washington. Daniels should not be first in MVP for anybody, I don't think. I think that's crazy right now. Like, Sam Darnold should be getting way more love than what Jaden Daniels to me is doing right. The guy's 5-0. His stats are better across the board. But by the time the season's over, this also won't be a discussion, if you know what I mean, Colby.
I know what you mean. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. You know what? Jared Goff is playing some of the hottest football of his career. Got to give it to him. And I mean, so much respect. Whether you like the Lions, you hate the Lions, which, I mean, I don't really know how you hate the Lions. You guys have kind of been in a rut for the last, 20-some years, probably even more. But it's just like, how can you not love what this guy is doing? I mean, he goes from the Rams as a first-round pick, doesn't look as well, transitions in that big trade to Detroit, and he's just balling out right now, and you got to give respect to him for it. He's definitely going to be in the race there for MVP if he keeps this up, especially that completion percentage, the way that he's been playing. Absolutely absurd. But, Bass, let's go down to you and kind of finish us off here with this Bears game.
Yeah, before I do, Nick, since we were just talking about it. Right now, would you swap Caleb Williams for Jaden Daniels?
Ooh.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. I'll write that down as a receipt. No, but back to the game. Yeah, disgusting because I like to keep receipts and I like to. Nick knows best. Every time he has a bookmark on one of his tweets, he should know it's me. So watching the Bears go out there and win 36-10, it sucks. And I could take the normal hater route and just be like, yeah, it's the Panthers. They're a dumpster fire, which they are. But they're an NFL team. And if you beat an NFL team by 26 points, I got to give props. And last week I said it was Caleb Williams' best game. And this takes the cake for that one. It was, again, his best game. 20 of 29, super efficient, 2 touchdowns, a quarterback rating 126.2. But the main thing that you take a look at is that sack column. 1 sack. That's it. And I think that was the changing thing here for the Chicago Bears is protecting Caleb Williams, whether he was more in rhythm, which I think he was, and they just protected better. Using DeAndre Swift, using all their weapons mainly on their offense, I think was key to victory here. Like when you look at their receiving, it's Moore, Kmet, Smith, Odunze, Allen, and Everett. So they're using all their weapons now. They're getting on the same page with everyone. Overall, I just hate to see it. 36-10, but they're getting on the same page, and I just hate talking about the Bears. I'm sorry. It's just bad. It's just bad.
Okay, Babs. I love you
It's
too.
just bad. But yeah, I picked them to win, and it's funny because I looked back at our prediction video, I think yesterday or something, and someone commented and they're like, laughing at my prediction. You only picked the Bears to win by 7. I'm like, I picked them to win. Like that's enough, right? Like I usually don't. And spoiler for this upcoming week, I'm going to pick them again, but hopefully that doesn't happen, but I'm going to pick them. But hey, I can't hate. I'm trying not to. They did what they're supposed to do against the Carolina Panthers, and they got a dub there, and they're above us in the NFC North. So that's all I could say.
Yeah, bro, unless you have a crystal ball, people in the comment section be so mad. They'd be like, damn, we won by 6. You had us by 3. You're so stupid. You don't know football. Get off the platform, bro. It's wild. It's wild what people are going to say here. But, boss, while we have you, I actually want to get your opinions on your Packers game. I mean, 24-19. You go against the Rams. I think everybody expected the Rams to be a lot better than they've been so far this season. They only have 1 win in the column right now. That was against the 49ers. And really, the 49ers should have won anyway, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. Been a very, very weird team that the Rams have been so far. Why don't you break this game down?
Yeah, so although it's only week 5, I mean, you guys are already kind of talking about this. It feels like if you drop a game here in the NFC North, like you just can't drop a game. So it was week 5, and I'm sitting here going before this game, this is kind of like a must win. You're playing an interconference team, a team that you definitely should win. If you lose here after losing to the Vikings, you lose a lot of momentum. And the key to the Packers getting a win here is again going up early. Every time they've gone up early, similar to the Minnesota Vikings, they get a win, and they can lead on their rushing game in Josh Jacobs, which I still think they should have done more. I think ever since Jordan Love has returned, Matt LaFleur is kind of like, okay, I don't need to run as much because I have Jordan Love. And speaking of Jordan Love, I'm sure you guys all saw the interception in the end zone, and everyone's like, okay, that's some Will Levis type action right there, or Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone. Dion, I forget how that was for you, but But Jordan Love started out rusty, and I'll say this, he keeps getting better as the game progresses. So we saw in the Minnesota game, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, got a lot better, got more in rhythm. And then in this game as well, got a lot better, started to hit more of his throws in rhythm. Early on, he missed Tay Wick's first play of the game. Then he threw in triple coverage to Jaden Reed. I have no idea how that guy just continues to come down with the football. I think he's 4 for 4 on passes over 20-plus yards, and Jaden Reed right now is top 5 in receiving, and he's played 2 games without his starting quarterback. It's absolutely insane how great this guy has been for our offense. But back to Jordan Love, what really was the turning point in this game where I thought, okay, Jordan Love is finally starting to feel more comfortable on that left knee, is I believe it was the 4th quarter. It's 3rd and 12, and he scrambles outside of the right side of the pocket, outruns Braden Fisk, cuts up the right sideline, has to make a move on a defender to then dive for the first down while landing on that left leg. Once I saw that play and he jumps right up and signals for the first down, I'm like, all right, here we go. He's finally starting to get over this knee injury, and he's off the injury report this week, so it's really great to see. Outside of the offense, that I think they should run more with Josh Jacobs, especially this week against Arizona. We'll talk about it later this week. Tucker Kraft, absolute animal in this offense. Kind of taking the same year that Laporta had his rookie season, kind of taking that early jump, just showcasing his abilities at tight end. The defense, they made a couple switches in this game that I think should stick. They brought on Evan Williams, our 4th-round rookie from Oregon, and started him at safety next to Xavier McKinney. This could have been because they don't have Jair, and they wanted to move then Bullard into the slot and Nixon out at boundary corner. I think it should stay this way. There was 3 rookies that made massive impacts in this game. Javon Bullard, Edgerrin Cooper, and Evan Williams. 2 of our 2nd-rounders, 1 of our 4th-rounder. And I don't think you can keep any 3 of those guys off the field. Edgerrin Cooper had a sack. He had a tackle for loss. He had 2 pressures, including on the very last play, pressured Matthew Stafford, which then resulted in an incomplete pass by Evan Williams, breaking up the pass to Colby Parkinson. So these rookies are continuing to make plays, and every single week as Packers fans, we're going, these guys need to get on the field more. So I'm hoping they keep it that way and they don't go back to Bullard at safety with Nixon in the slot and Evan Williams off the field here in week 6, just because Jair is probably coming back. On defense, the Rams, without Puka, without Cooper Kupp, they still gave us a lot of trouble, so it's definitely a worry there. We still kind of struggle to get pressure with just 4. Some of the stats show otherwise, like we're one of the team. We do get a lot of pressure, but Rashawn Gary's been non-existent. We couldn't really cover Jordan Whittington, who's had a great start to his rookie campaign. Eric Stokes looked terrible out there. Tutu Atwell, 6 for 58. But overall, we got it done, and we again created turnovers. Xavier McKinney with his 5th straight interception. He honestly should have had 2 or 3 in this game. He also had a fumble recovery, a punch out by JJ Enagbari on Kyron Williams. So the Packers continue to create turnovers on defense. And it was a tough victory. I think they should have won by more. I had them by 10, and they only won by 5, and it came down to the very last drive. But a win is a win in the win column, and they needed this one. And they head to Green Bay, back to Green Bay to take on the Arizona Cardinals, and I have high hopes for that one as well. But overall, I think Jordan Love is getting back into rhythm, finally getting off of that knee injury, getting better. And I think it's going to continue. We had these similar struggles last year around this time where everything kind of seemed off rhythm. Receivers were dropping passes. We're kind of having that still right now. And I think it's going to continue to get better as Jordan gets healthy and these receivers start to catch passes and Romeo Doubs isn't skipping practice. So we're finally back there as well. But yeah, good win by the Green Bay Packers to still remain 4th in the division, but plus 500.
Yeah, and like you say, a win is a win. And I think right now, this Packers team, they have all the potential in the world. We saw that potential last year in 2023, even when you guys entered the postseason. And right now, it's just about, like you said, getting healthy and just getting back into the win column. I'm somebody who believes that that mental aspect of football is just as important as the physical aspect, and it doesn't really get enough credit. That mentality on the field, in the locker room, can really carry itself into getting wins or getting L's. And a lot of times when you start losing, it kind of becomes habitual, and you need to be able to get your players kind of reeled back in and your coaching staff reeled back in. And like you said, you guys going up against the Cardinals next, that's another really good opportunity to string together a couple of wins. And maybe Jordan Love came back a little sooner than he realistically should have. But at the end of the day, a reality is what it is. He's back. He's obviously one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and he's going to help you guys succeed as long as he can stay healthy. And like you said, you just hope that he can start to get a little bit more healthy as time goes on. But Nick, let's go on over to you. What did you think about this Packers and this Rams game?
Yeah, we played the Rams the week before, so we kind of got to understand what this team was like. And going against them, it was almost the same exact score as the Bears versus Rams. Packers beat them, obviously. Playing in LA is no joke. They have a really strong fan base, and the fact that Green Bay was able to go in there and get the job done was impressive. I thought that it was overall a pretty solid game, to say the least. I thought the Packers offense got the ball moving when they needed to. Their defense, man, I will say this, Baz, is that the Packers defense is impressing me a lot more than I thought they would this year. They're coming out, they're swinging, they're playing a lot better. Obviously, you guys got a new defensive coordinator, so that helps out. But overall, I think that, the Rams, it's so weird after all the time of the Rams being as good as they've been to see them not have a 500-plus record, to see them, struggling a little bit more. It's still early in the season. It's 5 weeks in. But at the end of the day, the Packers put up a really good game against what I think is a really good team. I know that some of the Rams players came back that didn't play against the Bears. So the Packers on the road got the job done against I think that the record doesn't speak to how good the Rams are. I think they're just in a weird situation. I think they'll start heating up after the next couple of weeks. But great job by Green Bay. Truly shows Matt LaFleur. I thought it was a good coaching battle, too. I don't think that's talked about enough either, is that you had 2 really good coaches that I believe come from the same coaching tree, got together, did a really solid job in battle, and Green Bay just came out on top. So shout out to the Packers. Again, toughest division in football. Win's a win in the NFL, and they're 3-2. But again, I'm in third place. I just got to put that out there, Baz, real quick. Sorry.
Don't apologize.
No, never mind. I take that back. I'm not sorry.
One bar, buddy. Let's go on up to you. What did you think about this Packers game?
I mean, just like the Vikings game, it's like Green Bay played far from perfect, but they got the win. And we're sounding like broken records here, but that's what you have to do right now. This early in the season, just get the wins, figure out crap as you get through the season. So they got the win. I mean, it got dicey at the end. I was watching that thing. I was having a blast. I mean, Green Bay managed to pull out a win on the road. That's huge. Green Bay's offense keeps getting those big plays that seems to be saving them a little bit. They got to clean stuff up. Baz would agree with that. Drop passes, defensive line, Gary. I mean, where's Rashawn Gary? But Xavier McKinney, it burned my ass so bad when the Packers signed him this offseason. I love that guy when he was with the Giants. And you're right. He should have had like 3 interceptions that game. The dude is on pace to get 17 interceptions. I mean, the dude is lighting it up. The defense is playing well. I mean, but here's my thing with Jordan Love. Like, I mean, you say it was Will Levis, Dan Orlovsky. I mean, it was kind of like a mixture of the two. The dude just makes some stupid plays sometimes. And it's funny. I love watching Twitter during the games because when Jordan Love makes a good play, his knee feels fine. 2 plays later, he makes a stupid play. It's the knee. It's the knee. We got to come back to the knee. It's like bullshit. He's out on the field. He's healthy. He's playing. So I'm not giving him a pass. That was one of the worst plays I've ever seen in my life. And I don't think it had anything to do with his knee. If you're getting paid that much, like, you can't be doing that stuff. And Love has all the talent in the world. Nobody will disagree with that. The dude is a very talented player. He just makes some weird plays sometimes. And that was insane to me. But the Packers got the win. It doesn't really sway me. Like, it's like I said, I'm going back to the Vikings. Like, I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn. We barely beat the Jets, but like, it didn't really sway the needle as far as where the Packers are right now. We'll find out in the next few weeks, but they got the win. They're 3-2. They're above 500. They did what they had to.
Respect. Now, Dose, why don't you finish us off here with your thoughts on this Packs game?
Man, hey, first off, shout out to the chat, man. The chat's hilarious. Going over to One Bar, man, I think what One Bar said at the end is exactly how I feel after this game. It's like I'm not really sure how I feel about the Packers, even though they won this, because I don't feel like they answered a lot of the questions. Like, it almost felt like when Malik Willis was in there, they were more consistent. You kind of knew what they were going to be. Like, you knew there was limitations, but they were more consistent. Maybe that's who they were playing as well. And they felt really threatening. Everything felt side to side. It was like, man, there's a lot of options for this team. And then with Love, it just feels a little bit more hit and miss. And I think it just stinks the time that he got hurt at the very beginning of the season, because for most teams, they're still trying to figure it out. So for him to then get hurt and then have to come back in, it just feels like something's off all the time. As Bass pointed out, like, you get this big play and you're watching. I thought, even when I watched it back, I thought he threw the interception. I was like, oh, he threw a pick. And I wrote it down and I'm like, wait a minute, he caught that. He threw it between like 3 guys. And you look at their offense, it's like 2 massive plays in this game. I hate watching Tucker Kraft go to work, Bass. I hate that, man. I love Tucker Kraft. And now he's cooking this year, man. He's gotten a road. Last game against Minnesota, he was big. So I hate seeing that, but I always feel like with Green Bay, the one thing that I can bank on in a way as a Lions fan, especially now this year, I really like that second level back. I like what they've done with the linebacker position. I mean, when they drafted Quay Walker, we weren't sure what that was going to turn into, and the development that they've taken there. And then, it wasn't great in this game necessarily, especially considering who they were playing, banged up offensive line, no weapons basically. But yeah, Xavier McKinney's taking the football away, and I like how fluid they feel in the back seven. I think that's going to be consistent week in and week out. But I walk out of this game feeling kind of weird, because they didn't like shut down LA's run game in this game, and as Bass said, I didn't feel like they were dominant pass rushing. So it was just weird. I just feel like I still have some questions out there about, like, is this offense going to look like super scary? Because right now it looks like they can make massive big plays and also, as One Bar pointed out, do some crazy things, and they just don't look as efficient as I think the Packers were when they kind of peaked last season. So still a lot of questions, but as everybody else said, you got to get the win, and they did that. And yeah, one more time, I hate Tucker Kraft, man. I don't want to see it. I just don't want to see it. That's it.
Kraft cheese.
Alrighty, guys. Well, look, that is going to wrap us up here today for the NFC North Roundtable. Wrapping up here week 5. Of course, like we said, the Detroit Lions, they were on a bye week. They didn't have a game, so nothing to really get into there. So let's just go around the table one last time. Any last words before we log off? One Bar, let's start with you.
No, like I said, Vikings are on a bye. I look forward to watching all these squads play. Love all you guys. Hope your teams lose horribly.
Dose, what's going over to you?
Yeah, I mean, I hope not. I hope we don't lose horribly. The chat's talking crazy. Let's just chat. We need to see you on Friday's comments. You guys are talking crazy. All right, my guy. I'm just gonna leave it right there. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I hope to see you guys next week after we beat Dallas. I look forward to that.
Boss, let's go down to you.
I agree, Dion. I always like taking a look at the chat, and they're just having their whole own conversations, and I'm trying to read it as everyone else is talking. I'm like, wait, what are we talking about over here? No, but shout out, chat. Hey, appreciate you guys coming by. Leave a like on the stream. Packers had to take on the Cardinals in Green Bay. I think in a weird way, they could be 4-2 after this week and still fourth in the division. I truly think all NFC North teams yet again could win, which then would result, I think, in the Packers still being fourth. I think, right? That would make sense. Just again, NFC North, best division in football.
Yeah, Nicholas, going over to you. Any last words? Think you muted there, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Shout out to the chat. It's been a lot of fun watching you guys. Absolutely throw a bear down in there right now and hit that like button. But toughest division in football. We're taking on the Jags. I'm excited about it. If we walk out 4-2, my chest is going to be super high. I'm feeling good about this upcoming week, and I hope everyone has a lot of fun, as I always say. So I hope you guys all have fun this week.
Yes, sir. And we actually have to hop onto a pre-record video to preview week 6. So we're not done just yet. That video will be dropping for you guys in a few short days. So make sure you guys are subscribed here to the NFC North Roundtable. Hit that bell notification when you do subscribe so that you get notified every single time we go live, every single time we post a video, a short, a community post. You guys are not going to want to miss out on it. Of course, make sure you guys do subscribe to each of these individual creators. Their channels linked in the description box below. You might not love them. You might not love their teams, but you know what? Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Please make sure you guys, of course, also leave a big like on this video. I promise we're not asking for likes for looks. It actually helps us out significantly. It's free. It takes less than a second. When you guys like the video, it helps push this video, push this channel out into the YouTube universe and helps us out significantly with the YouTube algorithm. Also, of course, if you are a Floridian, you're in Florida, please, like we said earlier, be safe, take the proper precautions. Everybody help each other out, help the animals out right now, and everybody come together and do their part. This is so much bigger than football. Of course, another massive shout out to BetUS. Remember, if you guys sign up right now, on their website, use the mobile app. Takes less than 60 seconds. Use the promo code when you do sign up of YouTube150 like you see on the screen. You guys will get a limited time exclusive offer of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit, followed by 125% sign-up bonus on your next 2 deposits, all the way up to $2,000. That is a deal on your first 3 deposits. But of course, play smart, play responsible. We appreciate you guys so much for watching. We will see you next week. And of course, stay safe.